going to get to that because I didn't give you the right your answer last time. It's a tough one.
So Deep, thanks for joining us. Been meaning to have this conversation with you for years, and
I've been looking forward to it as well.
you know, you built and you launched Makemytrip in 2000. You are in many ways original internet entrepreneur from India. And now we track some of these newer born companies, Flipkarts and all of them. What has really changed? And not really an academic question in that sense, but from the time you built Makemytrip, you went IPO, have the dynamics really changed in that sense, the core dynamics? Because like we were discussing, we still find those questions.
No, and I do believe there have been fundamental changes. And if I think about it, perhaps the best way to frame the changes is on two dimensions. One is the quantity dimension, quantity equal to scale, and we'll talk about that. And the other is the quality dimension, and which is the quality of entrepreneurs and startups. That's the way I look at it. Yes, I started Makemytrip in 2000, but the reality is that India wasn't ready then. And for the first 5 years, we went through a lot of our own struggles, ups and downs, and enough has been written about it. And there were, great days in hindsight, terrible days when you were living it. NRIs were not coming back for leisure. NRIs were coming back to come home, or they were getting their parents there, kids were being born, marriages were happening, people were dying, etc., etc. So this travel was going on for a while. That time there were about 2.5, 3 million NRIs in the US, and we focused on that market. It kept us alive through 9/11. If people were coming for leisure, our business would have died through SARS epidemic, through the meltdown, 2001 onwards was really terrible, those 2-3 years. But in 2005, we found that India is now ready. And it wasn't like someone came out with a banner and said, yeah, India is ready to buy online. No, we were watching, waiting. I think there were two turning points, and one was Indian Railways, IRCTC. I give them a lot of credit for holding the hand of the average Indian, or the first mover to buy online.
Sure.
Before that, people had no trust in this medium. They said, we will do everything for free. We will research, we'll read our news, blah, blah, blah. But खरीदेंगे नहीं. Credit card डाल दिया, क्या पता, you read these stories कि कल वो credit card कहाँ पहुँच गया, किसने use किया, secure server का कुछ था ही नहीं उस time. IRCTC, being quasi-government, I think in fact being fully government owned, but being a corporation which was backed by government, helped people get over that fear, because in India we trust our government, which is good. And also the kind of need and service it provided, it served a need which was very basic, right? India still travels on trains.
Exactly.
While aviation is growing phenomenally, but the bulk travels on trains. And buying a rail ticket, we know, is a very, very painful thing unless you do it online. So we've all been buying rail tickets. What would we do? People who had someone to send, you would send your runner boy, your peon, or your driver to go buy a ticket. Pre-mobile days, what would happen if he's there and the ticket wasn't available? He would come back and say, "Saab, ticket nahi mili." Then again this drama would start. Yes. Or you would go to a guy who was a travel agent for tickets, or a fixer, who could somehow manage to get you tickets when it was all sold out, because they would hog up the tickets, resell them for a premium, blah. It's a terrible thing. It was all broken. So IRCTC solved that problem. Willy-nilly, they also solved another problem which at least we had, which was getting Indians comfortable to buy online. Okay. So that was one data point. Second data point for us was low-cost carriers. So low-cost carriers provided us a very interesting problem in the market, okay, which we could solve through technology. What was the problem? They were advertising fares 999 rupees. Yes. You called up your travel agent said, "वो तो नहीं मिल रहा, उसमें तो ticket नहीं है." By and large, travel agents did not want to sell because they did not make money on low-cost carriers. However, the customer wanted it. You wanted that ticket for 999 from Bangalore to Delhi. I wanted it. Everyone wanted it. So where would you go? If you went to that website, their websites were clunky. So what we did was, and also how many websites would you go to? You will check Air Deccan, you will check Indigo, you will check so-and-so, then you will check your full service carriers. You will have to do, spend 2-3 hours to buy a simple ticket to get to know where's the best price. We saw that as a wonderful situation where we could solve the problem through technology.
The other thing, Deep, is people talk of incumbents and disruptors. Now, in some ways, you were a disruptor in 2000 when you offered an alternate channel, and then if I go back and look at 2000 to now, 16 years is clearly long enough time to call someone an incumbent in that sense. You would have seen companies come born as well, potential disruptors. How do you describe yourself now? Because if I go and speak to some of the newer companies in your sector, they would define you as incumbent, like you would have with others. So are you an incumbent or a disruptor? It's been 16 years.
It's a great question, and I think we'd like to never settle for the complacency which comes hand in hand with incumbency, because I believe that's the beginning of the end. So, and the only way not to do that is to keep reinventing yourself. So we have gone through reinventing ourselves multiple times, but this one which we are doing right now as we speak is fundamentally different. So when I started the business, I think it was really 1.0. Yes, there was technology at the back end, you could buy stuff online, but it was very 1.0 of web, right? Simplistic stuff, people saw it, technology took time, it worked, there were errors, blah, blah, blah. It's clunky. I think as we, actually even before that, if I look at 2000, 2005, the US NRI business was largely call. We had India.com, Makemytrip, but we also had India, a toll-free number. So 1-800-India-10 was our number, which is still there, where a lot of people called. So we actually have our, we've done that part of the business, which is really offline. In 2005 in India, the tickets, luckily for us, started selling very quickly online. But for hotels, we tried all kinds of things and they wouldn't move online. The way I have realized that we have to change is by making changes at the top. So very consciously, the team here has changed dramatically. And it keeps changing and churning. So in our latest, and that's why I said what we are going through right now is the most exciting phase. We did an acqui-hire to get our current CPO, Anshuman Bapna. Yeah, so we bought MyGola effectively for Anshuman. Here, when you come in, we embrace you, and but we take a lot of time to hire the right people. So the change can only come from the top. Now that also means I have to change. And
I was about to ask that. Yeah, I was about to ask that because Deep, one of the things is also founders' mentality. And so you started in 2000, right? And a lot of academicians have data to support that, and exactly what I was about to ask you. Right. Now, doesn't this also include you as founder?
Absolutely. It starts here. It has to start in the mind of the founding team or the founders or the co-founders. And if the founder, and if I don't believe fundamentally that this business has to change the way it's done, and the people who will take us to the next level are a totally different level of people. If I continue to do product the way I used to do it in a clunky manner, then I can't compete. So I have to get the best in class. That's the next best thing I can do. There could be a time where one has to say, are we good enough? Now you have to realize what you are needed for. Very often, the founders and all are still needed to be the glue. People like to say strategy, though I think many people do strategy, but sure. Strategy is important, but I think it's the glue. It's the reason why people not only join, it's the reason why they stay. And to ensure that brilliant people can work well together. I can tell you many times where people make top hires, and it's all in the press, yes. Companies have made top hires, hasn't worked. Why hasn't it worked? Because I don't think anyone spent enough time, sometimes pre-hire, but maybe they did, but to make it work. You cannot get people from different cultures, give them a great salary, expect them to come in, give them ESOPs and say it'll work. No, not necessary. You have to understand everyone's hot buttons. A job of the job of I think the founder or the CEO is to understand everyone's hot buttons, and therefore I think EQ is super important in that. So if you're excited, but we'll give you a lot of leeway. So I give tons of leeway. I let people fall, there's no problem. Let them make mistakes, but let there be a method even in that planning. So I think that's my job actually. In some sort of way, that's what I have to do between strategy and making sure that people are excited and aligned.
And it'll be all right.
Does that mean that you could have a non-founder running the company? Because that's another, I don't know if it is a metric or a way of looking at it, right? But it also demonstrates to what extent can you walk the talk in that sense.
Absolutely, and at some level that might have to happen. I think right now our investors are more bothered about us continuing to run it, but I think whether one checks out or not, I think what's very important is what is the role you're playing. So what I'd like to say in technology, I'm not a technologist. I wish I was. We wouldn't have changed 7 CTOs till date. But in technology, the last word is from our CTO. We don't double guess that. We have a board where people understand. We say, no, Sanjay is going to have the last word because he's CTO. The last word on product is with Anshuman. He's not second guessed by anyone, and Mohit might have a point of view who'll say, listen, but this. I might have a point of view on product on the intuitive side of it. They'll listen to me. They might humor me by giving A/B. They'll create, if I say, no, I think we want to do this, they say, okay, let's do an A/B test. Let's expose 1% of traffic to this new UI, new change, what you think is great. And then let's measure that, and after 2 weeks or 4 weeks, let's take a call. Is that a good change or a bad change? We do. So we are running A/B experiments all the time. Sure. In fact, we have now got a platform where we can run multiple experiments at the same time. And the A/B is the ultimate platform to test a new change. So, but the last word in marketing will be with Saujanya. He will show us 3 film scripts. Very nice of him to do that, and we will, because that is something, okay, I can say at least, unlike code, I understand. I'll look at it, Rajesh will look at it, a few of us will look at it, Mohit, we'll all be invited in. At some level, I think we're quite, consensus, but there'll be that one meeting with the top 2 or 3 scripts. So each of these scripts, by and large, luckily we gravitated, but in 1 or 2 cases, I remember in one case, I preferred something else. Classic case, the last change of logo. I actually didn't like it. I preferred our old logo. But Saujanya convinced me that it's time for change. We have to be more modern. So this red square MI that you see on the app, this is new. It used to be something else. I'll show you this thing. And I said, fair enough, guys. That's not going to make or break our business. If you think that's so important, let's do it. So we changed our logo 6 months ago. And I can't say I was a big fan of it. I'm getting used to it. But I like the old one. And I was emotional about it. Now I have to detach myself and say I can't be emotional.
So I also asked that question because of this whole letting go thing that people talk about, and even some of the older services companies that we have tracked, that plays on, and that's why I ask you, like, as a founder, how tough or easy it is to let go, and that's why I ask you whether we could expect a non-founder as a CEO sometime running it.
No, I think letting go is the key thing, and I think it's deeply rooted in who you are, what you are, and your self-confidence, actually. Sure. I really think so. Sure. I think people who are very confident in what they bring to the table, what they know, what value they bring, I think should not have problem letting go where there's expertise. People don't let go, and sometimes they become control freaks, etc., etc. One, they don't have confidence in others. The second is they actually don't have confidence in self, because then you're almost saying, hey, what do I do then?
Favorite holiday destination?
Maldives.
Favorite entrepreneur?
I think after Steve Jobs, it's got to be Elon Musk for variety of what he can do, and Jeff Bezos for stamina. So I'm sorry, there are 3, but I just love all 3 of them.
Favorite entrepreneur in India?
I think it's got to be the Infi team. I am hugely inspired by so really Murthy and Nandan, and I think everyone gets the credit. But when I set up Makemytrip, the company I was inspired by was Infosys. I actually shared it with them.
Favorite internet entrepreneur in India?
It's a tough one. I think in the 1.0 era, like, Sanjeev Bikhchandani for me, is one of the guys I just love the way he's also tried to evolve and change himself. And I love, again, his code of ethics and values. So I think it's probably got to be Sanjeev. From the current crop, which is what you really want to hear, I know. It's a tough one, but I think it's between, it's the Flipkart, both Binny and Sachin for me, and I'm a big Bhavish fan. So I love the way Bhavish is building his company. So I think it's between these guys, yeah.
One of the things that people are talking a lot about, will an Indian company win this? I mean, and there are increasingly these, streams of thoughts coming in. Yeah?
Makemytrip is winning online travel, and we're very sure we're not going to let anyone get in here. So Expedia is probably at number 6 in our market, Booking.com at number 5. So yeah, we're sure of our market. Ecom, obviously, I know it's a bigger war being fought, and Amazon's also a tougher competitor, and they've dug their heels in. And I think Amit, who's leading Amazon out here, is a phenomenal guy. He's really doing an incredible job. So you got to give them credit. The good news is for the consumers, right? Prime gets launched out here. I ordered a couple of books day before for my son, football books. On Sunday evening on my app, they were on my desk Monday morning. And so obviously they were lying in one of their fulfillment centers in Gurgaon, but still it's working. So I think they're doing something pretty cool.
Final one. Current breed of entrepreneurs, institutional builders or mercenaries?
Can't generalize, but I can tell you that some are definitely building institutions. I think Flipkart's an institution and they'll manage to make it something durable. I'd like to believe Ola is too. The others, I'm not sure. I love this company called ShopClose. They've been quietly doing a great job, building a great company, very focused on metrics. They've done really well. Down the road, I think very good. I'm not sure if the others will take an exit if they got one. Time will tell. So mercenary is a very strong word. You know, at the end of the day, anyone who gets into any business you can say is a mercenary because you're chasing it for profit. So I won't like to use it, but I think some people are not necessarily institution builders, and that's fine. Good for them. I mean, if you stop enjoying what you're doing, what's the point? But if you're enjoying what you're doing, why not?